2 years ago, Tissot surprised us with the launch of a highly popular watch from the 70s. Now, the PRX was created and launched in the frenzy of steel sports watches with integrated bracelets. The relaunch was one of the best ideas the brand could have had because it launched the Swiss house to be once again one of the most important conversation topics inside of the watch world. But what makes this watch so special that it became so popular? Clearly, it's a case study, but it is also one of the most popular watches in an industry that is highly competitive, especially in terms of the price range managed by Tissot. But what does this watch have that has made it so popular among young women, men, children, dogs? Everyone loves and wants the PRX. The first reason I see why the PRX is one of the most popular models is the timing of its release. In 2020-2021, when the pandemic happened, there was a phenomenon known as the bubble, where highly popular watches like the Rolex Daytona, the Submariner, the Patek Philippe Nautilus, and the AP Royal Oak increased their price to basically unaffordable levels. It was ridiculous. Everyone wanted one of these models, and those who couldn't afford them looked for something that could make you feel something similar. Many brands resorted to making homage or tributes. Many people started buying Chinese brands that resembled this watch, and other brands started releasing watches with integrated bracelets to have a model that scratched this itch and fulfilled the need to own something that looks like the AP or the Patek. Tissot had an advantage, and it was that they didn't have to resort to copying the design of others or homaging the design of others, but instead they only had to take a dive in their archives and find the original PRX blueprints. If we are honest, yes, the watch has some resemblance to the Royal Oak. No one will deny that. But one thing is that they were both released around the same time and they came from the same inspiration. And Tissot actually didn't steal the design just to make sales, not like other brands anyway. So Tissot's first success was the timing of the relaunch of this watch. It was the exact perfect timing when everyone wanted an expensive watch that almost no one could have. But it was a watch that also appealed to the masses. Later we will return a little bit into this topic. Tissot's second success and why the PRX became a beloved watch for the people is the quality. Rarely, and I say this with all the love in the world, do we have a brand from a large Swiss conglomerate that offers quality for money. And I believe that Tissot has become a spearhead in that aspect within the Swatch Group. And this is 100% thanks to the PRX. If you have had one of these watches in your hands, you will understand when I say that the watch feels sturdy, that the bracelet is well finished, and the dial and the colors look spectacular. And you will understand when I say that the way the bracelet plays with the light when you wear it is very special. It is a small tank for you to wear every day. And perhaps the only thing that will happen to it is that it will get a bit scratched, just a bit. But that happens almost to every watch, especially when they are so well built. I mean, I'd rather have it scratched than broken or stop working. And that's what will most likely happen to this watch. It will get scratched because this is a watch for everyday wear. All of this is accompanied by the fact that the cheapest PRX you can find is around $300. And from here, we move on to the third reason why it is such a popular watch, which is the variety of selections and the evolution as such. Recently, I made a video talking about how I didn't understand what the brand Orient was doing with 4 or 5 different watch models in the same price range with many selection capabilities for the customer. And I even made the comment that if I were Orient, I would stick with 2 models in 2 different sizes. And that's it. And I believe this is the perfect example of what Orient could refine its lineup and how they could do things better. The wide variety of the PRX catalog has undoubtedly helped make it one of the best options available in the market right now. Just to begin with, we have two sizes, the 35mm and the 40mm. And although one may seem suitable for women and the other for men, I think the watch's architecture makes the smaller one suitable for basically any wrist, as you can see, whether you are a man or a woman. After that, we have quartz movement and automatic movement for both sizes. So here we actually have 4 variations of the same model, but without entering into different color or material variations. Just the movement and size. If you think about all the color and material variations that the watch has, you enter into an infinity where you will surely find one that suits your lifestyle. We have steel, we have gold PVD, there's pink, blue, green, white, black dials, Tiffany blue, baby blue. Some have gold bezels, and we also have the chronograph. Here, this watch covers many colors, many variations, and begins to introduce complications. Now, I wouldn't be surprised if we soon had a rose gold PVD or a black PVD version, and something I would love to see, and just imagine, is a PRX with another complication. Just imagine a GMT PRX, wow, or a PRX diver, everything like this, but with a diving bezel or a 24-hour bezel. Whew, that would be fire. But the thing is that since there are only 2 variations of the same model, I believe that the customer's decision remains simple. What size do I want? What movement do I want? And what color do I want? Done. Now, I also talked about the evolution of the watch itself. Now, at the beginning there were only 2 colors, black and blue. Obviously the simplest and most commercial colors. They were gonna play it safe at first. And they did, and it went spectacular. When they started adding colors, different materials, PVD, complications, but then they were also visionary enough to jump on trends. And I'm going to explain why the Tiffany blue color became so popular. A year ago, the latest version of the 5711 from Patek was released with a Tiffany dial. This watch sparked the trend for all watches with a Tiffany colored dial, because Patek made it the color of the moment. Now, listen to this because it's crazy. Rolex OPs had a 400 and 500% price increase in the gray market. Just imagine, 500%. People were trading Oyster Perpetuals for Daytonas. Now then, of course, Casio released a watch with a Tiffany dial, and of course, I challenge you to tell me which PRX model you think was the best seller. Of course, it was the Tiffany dial with quartz movement. Now, they have just released the automatic version, which I'm sure is now in stores. And of course, it will become the best seller of the PRX, period. Now, let's talk about the chronograph. At first, they played it safe, creating the blue dial, the panda dial, but now they took a bit more risk and created what I believe is the best PRX chronograph dial with this amazing smoked olive version, which, I mean, just look at it. Now, the next reason why Tissot is one of the most popular and beloved watch brands on the planet, it's its price range. And I think all of this has to do with Tissot being part of the Swatch group. Now, we all know that the Swatch family brands, including Hamilton, Mido, Rattle, and Tissot, have basically a control on the market for affordable watches, or maybe a luxury entry point. I think that's better. Now, however, I would venture to say that the Tissot PRX is the best value for money option in any of these 4 brands. I challenge you to tell me of a watch that can surpass everything that the PRX has. I mean, you can find the cheapest Tissot PRX for around $300. And I mean, of course, yes, it is a simple but high quality watch with a quartz movement. But everything else is basically the same. as the automatic watch with just some changes on the dial and of course the movement, but quality wise it's the same for $300 or less. Now of course they also give you the option of having a Swiss automatic movement with an 80-hour power reserve for around $750, while other brands basically for the same features charge you much more money. Being part of the Swatch group helps lower production costs because of course the movement you use in this watch is the same that your siblings are going to use. And it also helps for you to have a ceiling as a brand on the prices you can offer. So you know you cannot go above this price range. But as a brand, you have to strive to make the quality as high as possible for it to be able to compete inside the Swatch group. Now the next reason of why the PRX is one of the most popular and beloved watches, it's undoubtedly its design. It obviously bears some resemblance to more expensive watches. I think that we got that out of the way. But we must remember that this is an original watch from the 70s that brings back a lot of the legacy that Tissot had in those years. I mean, we already know that in the 70s the Royal Oak was a titan. All of the trend of integrated bracelets comes from them, from the AP Royal Oak. But no one can deny that this is an original design, that the quality is spectacular, that there are many options to choose from, that the price is unbeatable, and I mean, come on, that this watch looks extremely good. But what do you think?